say this spiritual journey didn't just start on this trip. So I have been on a spiritual journey for the last, I want to say, 3 or 4 years.
I was put in isolation for a reason. I tell people this, or I tell this story all the time. I believe cancer saved my life because he put me in isolation so I can hear and remember the promises that he has for me.
So, first of all, the book was written back in 2017, guys. Yes, 5 years this year. You cannot, you know, I couldn't make the story up if I wanted to. But my book talks about my journey since I discovered my past. And that was about 10 years ago, maybe even 15 now, that I discovered that Rosa was calling me to give back to the community.
It broke me open to who I truly am. And so I am grateful for those, trials and tribulations. So anytime I go through anything, I look for the silver lining in it. I do. I try to say, okay, maybe this is leaving my life because something better is coming in. Maybe this is happening because I wouldn't let go.
And Aubrey, who was in the park in Georgia where he was murdered, stuff like that. It just made me feel a certain way, and I was trying to find ways to. I wanted to do something about it, and I didn't know what to do. But I have this gift of creativity with my artwork, so I started. Well, maybe if I can create some images in my art, to help people understand, maybe that would be my way of my contribution.
I really didn't have an inner voice at the time. It's just, okay, get it done. You don't have a choice.
That was the voice that it was saying. It was almost like you know what I'm saying? You got to realize that is that's true. Awareness, that you have to realize that was the voice that was saying. So that's very interesting, and that awareness that's very important because that was your will. You know what I'm saying? That's a will to push through.
I am also a returning citizen, so I remember coming home, man, in 04, and it took me like 5 years to figure out who I was. But I was blessed because I had a little different drive. My drive was different, and I had support from family. Everybody ain't got that. So it took me about 5 years to find myself, and another like 10 years to perfect that thing. So I like to get that back, and so people would know that not only am I in the position to help, I understand what they're going through with their help.
And at this point, I'm still paralyzed. That's when they diagnosed me with an incomplete spinal cord injury called Brown-Séquard syndrome. So it's like, complete spinal cord injuries mean the connections are completely severed. You'll be paralyzed for life. And incomplete means you're paralyzed, but it's a chance for you to be mobile again, even if it's not in the same way.
Right.
So after 2 weeks there, my home was National Rehab Hospital in D.C.
Right.
Yeah. Like 4.5 months. It was about 4.5 months.
Hello, everyone. I'm Martina Turner. And this is Tony Turner.
We're husband and wife.
Yes.
We run a business here in Richmond, Virginia. And we've been married for about how many years now?
Going on 9 years.
9 years.
Yes.
Wonderful number 9.
Yes.
And,
wonderful number 9. You never lied about that.
She's been my co-mate. She's been rolling with me through the good and the bad time. And I'm very thankful.
Thankful for you too, baby.
So
honestly, because I got enough doors closed in my face and a lot of no's, especially starting out early. Because I started my acting career very young, and when I started, it was like more of you had to be a certain kind of look, a lighter skin tone. It was just different things that I ran into when I first started my acting career. So it's like you get sick of hearing no, you know what I mean? You get sick of people saying to you, oh, maybe next time, or maybe this, or, so you're like, okay, no one can tell. I can't tell myself no. So I just give myself the opportunities that I want. Like, I'll make the opportunities for myself.
I wanted to make sure that our sons had an opportunity to do some cultural studies, like family studies, so travel studying. I think that Black children, I especially think that Black children need the opportunity to see how we are treated in various places, and that the things that they may fear may not be necessarily the truth. So I think that international travel is something that as Black people we have a duty to do.
If you can step outside yourself a lot of times and get out your head and your feelings and just kind of meet the person with pure honesty, a lot of times what your perception will change immediately, and you'll realize that it had nothing to do with you, and realize that person is really more than what you saw from the outside.
The reality is, I personally embrace who I am. There's a sensitive side to me, an emotional side, and I shouldn't be embarrassed by it because I'm a human being. All human beings have that, but a lot of men suppress that because they think that it makes them less of a man to say, I'm vulnerable. You hurt my feelings. You know, I'm scared. You're a person. You don't have to walk around with your emotions on your sleeve, but at the same time, when it's necessary, be who you really are.
That crisis does not always have to be something negative. However, whatever means God is using to get you to trust him more and rely on self less, that is the crisis.
But I can't change who I am because someone else's perception is different. I just keep being who I am, right? A wise person told me that when you're around people, either they gonna be what you on or you gonna be what they on.
That part.
You know, I say it very in that way to emphasize the point. So I'm not going to be what you want. I'm not going to inhabit that negative mindset. I'm not going to think it's doom and gloom. I'm going to say it's dark, but it's going to be light. Like, that's just it, you know? So I think it's being consistent in who you are